All right, we're live. Welcome. Welcome to MadLab MMA or the MadLab TV. Stop.
No, don't stop it.
Okay. Welcome to MadLab TV. I'm with the MadLab himself, Mike Iorado. What's up?
That makes it fucking all the better. You got to keep that in. No editing that. We keep that right in there. No
This
editing.
is your MMA DFS preview for UFC 256, Figueiredo versus Moreno for the UFC Flyweight Championship. Find out who the MadLab picks and who his DFS leans are on coming up next. All right. What's up, MadLab? How we feeling about UFC 256?
What's going on? Good, man. I like it. It's another. You don't know what's going to be left of the card, though. It's the only thing. We started off with 13 fights. We got 3 knocked off the board. We're down to 10, I believe.
10 or 11.
Right,
I think 11. They matched up Tisha Torres with somebody else, right?
Yeah, they did with a newcomer. So that'll probably be a boring fight. That will probably go to the decision because Tisha Torres always goes to fucking the cards. But yeah, man, I mean, it's kind of, bro, isn't it crazy, dude, how this thing is really just creeping up on everybody?
Creeping up on everybody, but you know what? We fucking move on. And you know what? Uncle Dana keeps finding a way to get it done. But today, we're breaking down the main event. Big UFC 256 main event here. Coming off a 1-month layoff, right? Figueiredo, Moreno, they both fought on the same card, UFC 255. Both signed immediately right afterwards, right?
He never went back to Brazil. Never
went back to Brazil. Figueiredo just really took care of business quickly against Alex Perez, and Brandon Moreno really just showed what he's all about. The reason why he's ranked #1 and why he deserved a title shot. And man, let's break it down, man. What do you think, MadLab?
I don't know, man. You know, it's definitely going to be a different fight. You know what I mean? When you look at somebody like Alex Perez, he's got more of a traditional style. And what I mean by that, he's got his traditional wrestling. He's got traditional boxing where he ties his head to body to head. Everything about him is very traditional, even the trajectory of his movements. When you look at someone like Brandon Moreno, you take almost, it's crazy to say, but you almost take a traditional movement to an off-the-cuff Tony Ferguson style movement, and you meet right in the middle. You know what I mean? Because you got Moreno who moves in very awkward ways, very awkward angles. He's got good striking. He's got very slippery grappling. People forget when he came into the UFC, he was very, very known for his transitions and his advances and his grappling. Like, people really focal pointed on that. He's a wild card, this kid, man. And you know me with the Mexican fighters. I'm very high on Mexican fighters, whether it's boxing, whether it's MMA. They got a certain Mexican pride that they bear on their back. They really, really do. And this kid has an opportunity now to be the face of Mexico for MMA, you know, and really that's just the truth about it. I mean, they got the Aldanas and
tough, bro. They're tough. Boxing.
They don't quit.
They don't fucking quit. And listen, before we forget, you know, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit the like button, comment, please. We really appreciate the support. But back to what you're talking about, MadLab. Yeah, I mean, you know, coming from boxing, we've always watched those tough fucking boxers, Eric Morales, Barrera, just
best trilogies. That was bro. That to me, I know you're probably Gaddy Ward, and to me, that's the best trilogy of all time was Barrera Morales.
I think Barrera Morales and the Vasquez Marquez, the 4 fight.
Great fight.
Fucking just, that's real slugfest. That's like, when I think of boxing, what I want to watch that.
Barrera How Morales. Underrated was Marquez, dude?
Another one. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. So fucking underrated.
So underrated.
He got his respect towards the end.
He did. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now I think Brandon Moreno, you know, earned a lot of respect on he's had the respect, right? He's been top level fighter, but on this last one, you picked Royval the last time, right? Because that was no joke, right? But Moreno really just showed he's on another level and showed why he's deserving of the #1 ranking and why he should be fighting Deiveson Figueiredo for the UFC flyweight championship.
Yeah, the thing with Brendan Moreno, man, is like a lot of people are saying that did he deserve this? Did he really win that fight against Roy Val because of the injury? Understandable, but you don't know what could have happened in the second round. Second round to me is the biggest round of the fight always because it shows who can make adjustments and who can't, who was prepared and who was ill prepared. So you don't know, but if you look at that first round, he was clearly winning that first round. He
Clearly,
yeah, Brandon Moreno clearly took control of that round. But like I said, you don't know. But does he deserve the shot? He absolutely deserves the shot.
but
And
isn't that just part of it though? Isn't that like when they talk about that, like when Sugar Shane O'Malley fucking hurt his foot, like it's just part of the game. Like if the guy didn't fumble in the fourth quarter, he would have won. It's part of it.
Well, if you're dealing with a high profile fight, no, you got to run it back. That you have to run back. If it's a high profile fight, you have to run that back. But this wasn't a really high profile fight. It was an exciting fight. We all wanted to see the fight, but it wasn't a super high profile fight. But the thing that Brandon Moreno presents that a lot of people don't, that Figueiredo has fought is his very herky jerky, awkward style. He's got a very, and it shows in his persona, right? If you really watch Brendan Moreno talk and speak and act, and he's kind of goofy and he's kind of goofy footed, even in his personality. He presents that in his style of fighting. And that's something that's tough to train for. It always is. It's always guys like him, guys like Tony Ferguson, guys like, these guys are very tough to train for because it's hard to find training partners to mimic guys like Brendan Moreno and Tony Ferguson and, the Lando Venadas and stuff like that. Even though, these guys, some of them, not Tony Ferguson, but some of these guys aren't top of the heap. They got a very awkward style to them. And in order to figure these guys out, you got to kind of know what they're thinking. And they got a very awkward personality that it's tough. It's tough to train for guys like this. So it presents a different, game planning around. You got to kind of can't game plan it for it. You got to see what's presented in front of you. What is he throwing at me? Where is it coming from? Is he doing 1, 2s, and 3s? Is he feinting a lot of shots? Does he want it? You could tell the motion of a guy's body and what he's looking for. If he's committing, if he's not committing. And that's basically what he's got to wait for. But the thing with Figueiredo that intrigues me, and I know you're completely sold on him. You're completely sold on him.
He's got a pet water buffalo, bro. I know. He's got a fucking pet water buffalo. I'm completely sold. But again, I'm not you. You have a different eye when it comes to things. You're the one watching fucking fight film all day, and you're the one who exposes those bad style matchups. I mean, is this a good matchup for Figueiredo, or is it a bad matchup for him?
I think all matchups are good. I think all matchups are good for him for one reason. This is what intrigues me about Figueiredo is that I don't think we know what his ceiling is. I don't think we do. He seems like the type of fighter to me that he fights to his competition until he needs to win. And then you don't know what I don't think we understand how good his grappling is. I don't think we understand how good Figueiredo's striking is. I don't think we really know what his ceiling is. We know his floor is high, but I don't think he's had to really show us everything that he has in the toolbox yet. And that's fucking intriguing.
I've only seen him since, I'm looking at his DFS, his DraftKings, his last 4 fights. He hit for value every one, 94, 98, 134, and 93. He beat Elliott, then he beat Benavidez twice, and then Perez. I haven't seen him before the Elliott fight, so I've only watched him fight 4 times. I'm fucking super impressed. I think the guy's an animal, but this is fighting. This is MMA. Everybody loses. So, but to me, I'm just like, wow, how the fuck can you ever bet against this guy? He's a fucking animal.
Well, it's accumulation too, right? Like a lot of the guys look at, the lower weight guys, and they say you're going to have a firefight. It's going to be a high volume fight. He's not a high volume fighter, but he's got like bone crunching power. You know what I mean? Like he really, really does. So he's got 25 minutes to land that equalizer. And when he lands that equalizer, he will put, Moreno or whoever it is on Queer Street, and then he could finish him any way he wants. But I don't think we know what his ceiling is. Am I sold on him fully as a fighter? Yeah, I think he's very, very good. But do I think he could be had a lot more than some of the champions in the UFC and some of the fighters in the UFC, yeah, I do see some gaping holes that I think that can be exposed. I just don't think Brandon Moreno is the guy to do it.
Well, you're talking about high volume. I'm looking right here. 3 of his last 4 fights, he won by submission. So he hasn't had to. I mean, 8 significant strikes, 25, 35, and 5.
Yeah, but it's not his style.
Right.
Someone like Alex Perez is the guy who's going to come in and he's going to throw a shitload of volume. And what Figueiredo is going to do is he's going to sit back and he knows he's got and he's going to look and he's going to look. And once you open that window, he jumps through it.
But everybody talks about this guy has amazing power for somebody his size for that division.
He does.
His last 3 out of 4 fights finished by submission.
And that's what I mean by his ceiling. I don't know if we know what his ceiling actually is yet. I mean, this is a guy who can do it everywhere. We don't know how good, we don't know how good what happens if he gets into a grappling affair for 2 minutes with a super high pedigree grappler and they're going back and forth. We've never seen him in the heat of war in a grappling exchange. We've never seen him really sit in a pocket and fucking just trading. He hasn't had to. He's had an answer for everything. You know what I mean?
Would you rate Brandon Moreno's grappling from a scale of 1 to 10?
You're talking about the grapplers I've seen in my life. I wouldn't rank him very high. I mean, I think he's very good. I think he's very tricky, I should say. I would say his tricky factor is very high. But as far as, I mean, God, I can name girls that will, just you going into the grappling world now, bro. Like he wouldn't even impress me with some of these guys, like Tunnan and Mackenzie Dern, who fucking dude. She fought. This is a girl who beat Gabby Garcia, dude, who was literally 3 times her size, who was in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu International Hall of Fame, and she beat her. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's people out there that just are at such a different level than him, but he's got a very, very good slippery trick factor to him. It's good. He's very, very good on the ground, but he's not. I wouldn't consider him elite in any facet. I wouldn't consider.
You're the one who's watching the film. Okay, how do you see this fight going down?
I honestly see the first round is going to be a little bit tricky for Figueiredo. I think a lot of people are going to watch the first round as in Moreno's going to be the more active fighter. He's going to be showing them all these different looks. He's going to be throwing feints. He's going to be coming in. He's going to fight, dude. This kid is not afraid of power, and he's not afraid to fight. He's a true cold-blooded Mexican. He's going to come in. He wants to fight. He wants to bait Figueiredo into a firefight. That's what he really wants to do. I don't think Figueiredo is going to bite on it. I think he's going to really try to get his timing down. He might even look a little off. His timing might even look a little bit off to Figueiredo, to Moreno in the first round. But once he lands a beat on him, I just think it's just a matter of time. I think it's a matter of time. I think if it goes to the ground, it's a matter of time. I think if it stays on the feet and he starts getting his timing down, starts really reading his hips and starts seeing, where his feints are coming from and, starts kind of reading his combinations, body, head, I think it's just a matter of time, but he's going to have to dial him in. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to happen in the first round. I think it'll be after the first round. And I wouldn't be shocked if Moreno goes super deep with him, man. I mean, this is a kid this is a tough kid, man. Moreno's a super, super tough kid.
Okay. So give me a bold prediction on how you think this fight ends and about what time range. Again, Lab and I discussed this, tough fight to put a bet on. Not going to put a bet on this fight. Too tough to pick. But bold prediction. Obviously you're picking Figueiredo to win the fight from what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a bold prediction on how you think it ends.
I'm going to say Figueiredo is going to finish him in the third round.
Figueiredo finish in the third round.
Yeah.
Submission or strikes?
It's either going to be by knockout or it's going to be by like club and sub, dude. He's going to connect on something, put him on Queer Street, and jump on his back or something. But I think it'll, and so it's going to be entailed with his power in somehow. It's not going to be through I don't think he'll get him on a grappling exchange, like clean grappling exchange. I think it's going to be something where he knocks him out. Gets on top of him, ground and pounds him, or knocks him down and jumps his back or something like that. But I see Moreno giving him issues, dude. Until then, I really, really do. I see him giving him not fits, but I see him confusing him a little bit.
I hope we see a great fight, and Deiveson Figueiredo retains the UFC flyweight championship, right? From an MMA DFS perspective, DraftKings, FanDuel, how do you play this kind of fight?
I think they're both in play, right? I mean, I think they're both in play. I think Moreno is value enough. I believe he's almost borderline a punt play at that point. I believe he's 7,200.
I'll tell you right now, I got DraftKings open. You got Figueiredo at 9,000, Moreno at 7,200.
Yeah, 7,200. So I think he's in play. I would not fade him in any way, shape, or form. He's very, very active. If it does go to the ground and there are advances, and you don't know, like I wouldn't fade. Moreno's not a guy I would fade. I would not fade him, but I also see Figueiredo hitting that value. If he can bait him into a little bit of a firefight, which I'm expecting Moreno to really push the pressure. And listen, whether you bait it into a firefight or you're baiting in to get the guy off you, you're going to have to fight. Moreno's going to bring the fight to him, and Figueiredo's going to have to fight out of it. So the volume's going to be there. He's going to have no choice.
So, Lab, let me ask you, if I'm entering a tournament and I'm setting 10 lineups, okay, how many would you put Deiveson Figueiredo in versus Brandon Moreno? If I had 10 lineups, I was submitting.
I would say, you'd probably lean 6 to 7, like 6 lineups with Figueiredo. I would say that'd be a safe call.
Do you think you need the main event here if you're going for a GPP?
If I'm running
rounds,
I don't put them in all. I never do. I'll keep one or two of them out with the main event. Because you don't know. I mean, look what happened with like Ngannou and with Francis and Derek Lewis. Everybody thought that was going to be a knockout in the first round.
They both worst fight in UFC history.
UFC history. You know what I mean? So you don't know. The styles make fights, but styles also will pull the reins back on a fight a little bit. Especially in a magnitude like this, where there is a belt involved and there's a lot of things. Fighters tend to come out a little bit more cautious. So I don't think Moreno's going to come out cautious. So I think he's going to come out. Excuse me, looking to explode right out of the gate, because I think he knows the deeper this goes, the more chance he has of getting clipped. So I think he's going to come out here right out of the gate.
If you guys don't know, MadLab has his own unique way of picking fighters. He's not really a big metrics guy, although you do look at metrics. But if you want to really understand how he picks his fights, you look below, you'll see a link to the MMA, the MadLab's MMA Bible code. It's pretty much nice, long, detailed view of how he breaks down film, looks at camp, looks at a lot of things that most people probably don't look at, where the guy is mentally, how his family life is at home right now, who's just having look, we have conversations with me and Mike. It's like, yeah, well, listen, he just had a baby. I'm like, he just had a baby. Who the fuck cares? Like, no, you do care. His mental state of mind is not how it was for his last fight. A lot of these different ways of the way that that's why I trust everything he says. I'm like most guys. I just look at the stats, right? But there's a lot more to do with it, especially when it comes to the mental part, right? Of the fight.
It's the one sport you got to take stats. You got to throw them out the window. Yeah. I mean, I get that people like it and it's sexy looking because you're talking numbers and stuff like that. But if fighting and you've been involved in fighting and you've been involved in camps, and metrics are really, I mean, it's you got to look at a metric as best day. Best day. This is where they are on an average. This is what you're looking at if they come in healthy. The fight is the easiest part of the fucking game. The 12 weeks leading up to it, the 12, 15 weeks leading up to it, the way your camp is, the way you're eating, the way your personal life is, the way your attitude is, the way your injuries are, how your weight cut is going. That is the biggest proponent of fighting. And then the matchup. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, look, I love Alex Perez. I think Alex Perez is a fantastic fighter. But you can get a guy half his caliber that will go 5 rounds maybe with Figueiredo just because of the style. Maybe he's giving him problems with, chipping away at that lead leg, or maybe he's got a very herky-jerky jab or something that he just can't.
You were trying to find reasons to pick Perez, and you didn't find good enough reasons to pick him.
Yeah, because I like him. I really
know
like
you were really high on him. But look, I want to pick him, but I can't. There's no fucking way. And you were right. And I've been sold on Deiveson Figueiredo.
Yeah.
After I saw the pet water buffalo. Fucking water buffalo, bro.
Well, you got to be more than just a traditional fighter to beat somebody like Figueiredo. You have to be able to throw something out of the box that's going to confuse him.
And Uncle Dana loves him.
Yeah, and you got to remember too. We're not going to talk about it on here, but our subscribers know about it. There's heavy narratives involved on this card.
Of course.
Big, clear-cut narratives that a lot of people aren't talking about. You know what I mean? That are kind of like clear as day, like right in front of your face. I mean, the guys got to go out and they got to do their job. but there are narratives on this card that are really right in front of your fucking face.
Oh, you know what? If you want to know all the narratives, come to the MadLabMMA.com. That's the MadLab's official site to get all the fighter breakdowns, all the MMS DFS preview, full fighter analysis, weekly bets, which we put a couple in earlier already because we don't want the lines to move when we saw some nice big value. Monkey Knife Fight plays, our awesome private Discord chat. You'll see the link below. Come join us. For now, download a copy of the Bible. Official pick, Mike, Devison Figuieredo, right? Possible third round by knockout or submission. And if you're going to play DFS, you got to play both ways. No way you're fading Brandon Moreno. Yep. All right. We'll see you Saturday night for UFC 256. Peace.
Peace.